Oh,
Did he show up? Yes, because when I looked him up on Facebook and the number didn't work, he's friends with her son. And I'm like, but her son always like that. So I was she didn't know, but she like, I'm not even doing it. Sorry you drove out. Yeah, but he didn't like any information over the message. No, what's interesting is he didn't say anything when I told him the lender, the office, the name of the company, the address. He didn't say anything about knowing them or anything.
Okay, well, that's
I definitely think we need this tonight. They turned it on. So we're gonna go ahead and get started if everybody's ready. We are after 11.
Amber!
Come on up here, ladies. You don't need a mic.
I'm too loud.
Just turn it on. If you need to talk, it's not marketing. Go ahead. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming to our event. We hope you all get some good knowledge from the knowledgeable people here this morning. This is Shirley Tuttle, and they are one of our sponsors. Amber's going to talk for a minute.
Hello there, how are y'all? Good. Are y'all slow? Do you have listings just sitting there? Crickets? Yes? Okay. All right, well, hopefully today's event helps you get some offers, get some showings. My name is Amber, home boss for Truly Title. My office is in Waxahachie. We have offices all over the DFW Metroplex, down in the Austin area in Houston. So wherever you have a transaction, you most likely have an office. So please keep us in mind on your contracts. Our Waxahachie office can work every single contract in the state of Texas. And then we can either provide the closing at one of our other Truly locations, or my closers will travel if our closing schedule allows that. And you can always get a mobile notary. So please keep us in mind. We would love to earn your business. Make sure you have your business cards and the little gold wheel of prizes. Because we do have some good door prizes for y'all. So yeah, that's all I got. So let's go learn some great information and get your contracts executed.
Okay, well, I'm Stacy Goodman. I'm with the Goodman team. Kevin and I decided that everybody is becoming a more normal market, that people are kind of slowing down a little bit. So, to keep everybody on an even keel toward the end of the year, we thought we would do a lead generation class. So, help y'all learn from these knowledgeable people. And, Paul, you wanna come up and speak first?
So, let's do this.
We want the speakers to come up here.
Right, we're going to do more of a discussion panel rather than a lead class. So hopefully you can get something from each person that contributes.
Okay.
So, I'm Kevin Goodman, been agent since '06, mostly in the Ennis market or the Ellis County market. Paul? Yeah.
Paul Fritz. I've been residential since 2012. I've been in real estate 20 years. I did commercial, property development, property management before getting into residential, but since 2012 I've been residential. I'm on brokerage and happy to help and contribute any way I can.
Jennifer, come on up.
I'm Jennifer with Texas Premier Realty. We're here in Ennis, and I've been in real estate 8 years. Before that, I did development and for 13 years.
And Jennifer, teach us some.
Teach you. Okay.
You teach some.
Oh, I teach some, yes.
Yeah.
I teach for Champion School Real Estate. So I teach laws of contracts over there and then law of agency.
Who else we got?
I was just checking.
All right. Are we missing somebody? We're actually missing Claudia Rodriguez. She was gonna speak today, or be a part of the discussion panel, but she's got a sick child. I think that's something going around. All you people with kids.
You want us up here?
Yeah, I think we just, so, and today's topic is lead gen, and hopefully, like I said, we can each give some insight on what's going on with our personal lead gen and what's worked for us, and maybe even what hasn't worked for us over the years. So, me and Paul were talking with the environment, what it is today. Video's been I see a lot of video going on. Video's been a big thing with lead gen for agents. Whether you're actually doing live video, recording yourself, or using an avatar, which avatars have come a long way. They're very realistic. You do HeyGen's one of the ones that I know about. There may be others out there, but you build an avatar based on a recording that you submit to the avatar company, and they charge you a small fee, and then you load AI generated video, and you're a professional on anything, literally anything.
Scary.
Scary, very
Very
scary.
scary, yes.
It is scary, and it is slippery slope stuff like we're talking about, but it is a tool that's here,
Yes.
right? It's here, and somebody's gonna use it. Might as well be you. Because, I've heard a lot of people talk about it. When the internet was a thing, people were scared of the internet. When social media was a thing, people were scared of social media. And if you can be on the forefront of learning those tools and be able to provide that service for your clients in 2-3 years when it's mainstream, you have the edge as opposed to lagging behind. I mean, just take video for example. Agents who have been doing, in any profession really, that have been doing video for 3, 4, 5 years, it's a lot easier for them to whip out their phone, do a quick video, whether it's open house, whether it's, hey, I just learned this thing, or let's dispute property taxes, whatever the video is, you're already seasoned, you know how to do it versus someone who started today. So if you're not doing video today and you still have that kind of anxiety about it, imagine how much further behind you'll be in 2 or 3 years when these other tools are added layers.
That's right.
Just wanted to.
Yeah, no,
A
you're
lot of
right.
people are scared of it, and I mean, unless you're gonna go overthrow the government and change the world, it's here, it's happening, so.
Yeah, so talking about video and anxiety, my deal is I don't watch my videos. So I do one take, unless I do something just absolutely crazy. I do one take, and whatever it is, it is. Because I wouldn't redo it if me and you were talking. I wouldn't say, oh, hold on, let me back up. And so, do it one time, never watch it, it goes out, and like whenever it shows up in my feed, I make sure I do the
Well,
best. Now, I watch you, Kevin.
I'm right there with you, because
Yeah.
I don't like the way I sound on video.
Nobody likes the way they sound, nobody likes the way they look, it's,
That's
it's
right.
perfect, you always say the wrong thing. And the difference between people that do a lot of video is they just,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and they do, and I watch Stacy a lot and pay attention to, she's probably scrutinizing hers, where I'm looking at it going, well, that's perfect. I mean, I know she likes coffee.
I do like coffee.
Yes, yes.
Right, so that's the thing too, is when, it's an open forum to get to know people, for people to get to know you. And we're in a relationship business. This business, if people don't know you, people don't recognize you as an agent, or recognize you as a professional, they're not gonna use you. You can pay for all the Zillow leads, all the Realtor.com leads, or whatever else leads you wanna pay for. If you can't connect with the people that are on the other end of the line, they're gonna move on to the next one.
And whoever the last one they saw was usually, we don't think about. And to back up on video, just getting back to the whole lead generation topic that we're working for. The biggest thing is your sphere, right? Like any successful agent I've talked to, interviewed, most of their business comes from their sphere, repeat referral clients, and video, AI, action plans are ways to stay in front of them with leverage, right? Can you really call 300-400 people once a month and say, hey, it's Paul, just wanted to reach out, what do you want to talk about? It's not a realistic thing, right? But if you can do video, you can come up with things that add value, and you can create that and send that to them, you're seeing them, you're staying top of mind. The last person they saw, the last agent they heard talking about something, and to add value, right? Like, don't just make a video, hey, I'm making a video, just talking about whatever. It's, what's your house worth? What are the taxes? What's going on in your community? What are some home maintenance things you need to do in the spring and the fall? Things that people are going to watch, and they just feel like they know you, right? So not to just talk on video, but more of it's a leverageable way, so that you don't have to put in 80 hours a week to be in front of people and stay top.
That's right, no, and great point. I mean, you think about it, you mentioned Hump Ferry, go way back, Floyd Whitman was a big thing back early 2000s, and a lot of those guys that were in it back then are gone. You look at Zig Ziglar, wasn't real estate sales, but he was sales. And they talked about how many touches you needed to make. And back then it was 7 touches. If you could get 7 touches with a person, you built a rapport with them. They can relate to you, or they don't relate to you. They moved on. Today, I see a lot of Keller agents here. Gary Keller says it's 36 touches today. Think about that. So over less than 20-year span, we went from I need to touch to be recognized as a professional. I need to touch these people 7 times to I need to touch them 36 times. It's tremendous because of social media and video.
And I would say it's probably 36 now.
Yeah.
Like our action plans that we run are 47 to 60 touches a year. Like, and adding value, all of those touches, none of them are, hey, who do you know who's thinking about buying or selling real estate? Like that, they're gonna stop answering your call, they're gonna stop texting you back. You still do that, right? And even if they ignore your text, you know they saw it. But it's how can you have, 30 to 60 touches a year, and people want to see it, they look forward to it. When you don't do it, they say, hey, I missed it. You didn't do X. Are you still going to do it? Like, those are the things you have to create, so that you have that. You're the industry expert, you're the knowledge expert. You love and care on your sphere of people, right? They know you're as invested in them as they are in you.
Correct.
What you think?
Well, I agree with you. Now, my follow-up is 14. And the reason that I am 14, but I'm fine calling them more than 14 times, is because I'm an ELP for Dave Ramsey, and that's the numbers they came up with, saying, you know, they spend millions of dollars figuring out what converts. And so they say 14 times in 14 days.
Yes,
And
14
then-
days, not in a year.
Yeah, 14 times in 14 days to convert a lead, so, and I've got a text, and I will send it to anyone in the room, I call it my breakup text, on the 14th time, what I send them to try to get them going.
Off the fence.
Yes, to get them to at least return a phone call, so that I know, that they're paying attention to me. So mine is 14%, I have a very high conversion rate with or not 14%, 14 calls, I have a very high conversion rate, but I think whenever we're talking about buying leads, we should be realistic on that. So, me and my husband were number one in this area for the ELP for Dave Ramsey, and then I was number one in Corsicana for Redfin. I used both lead generations, so I finally said, well, what is that? What is that conversion rate? Redfin, it was 3%. So I should only expect to convert 3 people out of 100. So you have to set your expectation of what that looks like. And so you cannot think that every time you talk to someone on the phone, you're going to convert them. All you gotta do is pick up the phone and call them. And so in talking about past clients, I contact all my clients the day after closing, 3 days after closing, 7 days after closing, 14 days after closing, and then every 30 days, and then 30 days, and then quarterly after that. And then I'm always looking for a reason. Make sure they filed their homestead exemption. Make sure if they bought a new construction, 30 days later, did they file for all the extended warranties? You know, I'm always looking for something. You know, they need to go vote in November for this homestead increase. And so give them a reason for me to talk to them, and so that I am the knowledgeable professional.
Well, and you're bringing value with every phone call.
Absolutely.
It goes back to remember, if you're calling going, hey, just wanted to check, see if you know anybody that wants to buy or sell. Like Paul said, they're gonna quit answering your calls.
Yeah.
At some point, they're gonna go, dang, Kevin calls me and all he wants to talk about.
Is that?
So
Yeah.
you gotta bring value, when you're talking about those past touches, you've gotta be bringing value. When you're talking about people that are looking through whatever, however I'm not a fan of buying leads, I'm really not. We currently buy a few leads through, Brand X. I say Brand X because it's called realty.com, and it's not a real well-known, it's not like, they're basically trying to piggyback off of realtor.com. But, anyway, their thing is they want you to call 3 times a day until you talk to somebody. 3 times a day, 2 texts, and 1 email. I'm mad at you after the first time, like, first or second time that you called and I didn't answer. Cause there's no way to bring value when you're hammering it that hard. You've got to bring value, whether it's, hey, I seen you were looking, just wanted to offer my services, I could put you on a drip system, get you in front of some off-market properties, maybe get you more awareness of what the market's doing. Not just, hey, I see you're looking and I'm here to help you. Let's go look at something. I see you looked at 123 Main Street. We're going to 123 Main Street. I'll meet you over there. What do you mean? No. So internet leads are not, they're those probably less than 1% conversion. Not that you shouldn't do some kind of internet lead. If you've got a website, it's good to put that website out everywhere you can. you're gonna capture some leads, but those leads are gonna be, chances are they're a lot slower, a lot more touches. That gets into those 30 and 40 and 50 and 60 touches before you actually convert them, and you can keep them in your CRM that long.
And so, we do one source of paid for leads, and I would say to anybody out there, that's like number 6. The first thing you do is your sphere. In your CRM, everybody you know, you need all of their information, and that's our 60 touches. It's just the top 150, 200 people that we know.
Right.
I'm not sending everybody 60, you can't do that. But most of your business is gonna come from that. Repeat, referral, people you know, like, and trust you already, right? So you're doing that. You have a geofarm, you have a niche, right? You need those things that you're becoming a professional in and an expert. Like for me, I picked divorce, probate, those just a lot of those, and that's a very underserved market. So I just went and learned about it. We don't even market that I do that, but all of a sudden the university started giving me those people, right? So we do have a paid for lead source. It's like Z-Buy or something, but it's a low conversion rate. It's like 1%, but it's something that you can practice on. If you have agents, you need something in the pipeline. You can have them practicing scripts, reaching out, building good habits every day to lead generate and to prospect. But that's the last thing you're gonna do, right? It's SOI, your niche, your geofarm, your community, wherever you are. If your kids are in a school, if your kids play sports, I mean, we're talking about on the way up here. I've done from everywhere I'm at, whether it's coaching sports, sponsoring my kids at school, sponsoring the little leagues, the churches, the theater programs. I've done a deal out of all of those places. That's where I'm at. So that's the people that I can love and serve. That's the people that can know and love me, trust me, so that we can do business together. And then you can add on the lead sources, which, like you said, there's like 3%. Ours is around 1%. That's just a checking account stuff. It's a deal. I'm gonna try to get a deal today or the next 30 days because you do business, but that's not sustainable. That's when your business does this, right? You're really busy, and then you're dead. You're busy, and then you're dead. You have to build other things first, but you have a great foundation so that in 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, you're starting to reap what you sowed in your SOI, your geofarm, your niche that are now just coming to you. That's become listings, right? Hey, you know, I've been watching you on social media for the last 2 years, and now I'm ready. And I need somebody that knows my neighborhood, right? So we get calls because we geofarm our neighborhood, and we're in our social community, and we do the Easter egg hunts, and we do all of these things. So when people in our neighborhood get ready to list, dude, we're the expert. Who knows our neighborhood better than us, right? So that's why I say start in places like that.
Right, everybody's gotta know, you're right. Everybody's gotta know you're an agent. So, something that class I recently took on lead gen with, the question of the day was, what's your job? What is your job as a real estate agent? Anybody care to tackle that one?
Lead gen. I was gonna say, anybody ready to be a real estate agent?
That's exactly right. Travis is spot on. Your only job really is to lead gen. However you're doing it, you should, everywhere you go, you should be, and I hate to say it this way because it sounds salesy, but you should be on. You should be looking for those opportunities to talk to somebody about real estate. You're the professional in the room. Let it be known that you're the professional.
Don't be a secret agent.
Don't.
That's what we started out life, that's what God has told us. Don't be a secret agent, let everybody, and you're not saying, hey, nice to meet you, I'm Paul Fritz, hey, you wanna buy a house?
No.
You're saying, you know, everybody's gonna ask, what do you do? I'm in real estate. Why do you ask? Oh, well, how's the market? Well, great, there's tons of scripts for all of it, right? But you start that conversation, you start adding value to people, you start loving and serving people. Then the business will come. But if you just walk up, hey, I'm a salesman and I sell real estate, you live by a house, no, okay, and then you go meet the next person in the room, you just lost any future business with that person, right? You're like, what can I do to actually be of service? So don't be a secret agent. Real estate's a contact sport. I learned that. You just start doing activity, and business will be attracted to you, right? If you just intentionally go do something, take some steps, you'll be shocked at what's returned. Just get out of the office, get out of the house, go eat lunch somewhere. Like I saw Is that Stacy's laptop that has EXP on it?
It is.
And go to Starbucks and just put up a sign that says, I'm a real estate agent, ask me, and just work from Starbucks. Somebody, even if it's the barista working there, is gonna ask you a question, right? And you're gonna get business generated from that, or at least opportunities.
So I'm gonna say something about that, so, it's funny, somebody's already said Stacy likes coffee, that's all over her social media. But it's also known at most of the coffee shops in Ellis County, and she sold to several baristas. So, if she weren't talking to people about real estate, it wouldn't happen. People know that she's an agent. So. Jennifer, you sell any sushi today?
No, not on Monday and
Are
Tuesday.
are you using sushi to sell to
I-
promote your real estate business?
So me and my husband on December 29th bought the Bristol General Store. So if you haven't been out since December 29th, it is absolutely awesome. And so yes, I do sell a lot of real estate at the Bristol General Store, and I do all my lead generation from there. And now I have people that come in and say, hey, I need to know the value of my property, I'm getting a divorce. And so find those activities that help you generate those leads. Now I don't take my clients out to dinner anymore, they all come to me, it works out perfect, and so,
I love it.
yeah, it's great.
How about
Take some
questions?
questions, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was
Do
gonna
you have
say.
any questions?
What were some of the things that y'all did starting out as agents, you know, that, kind of helped kickstart your business? Like, I know you had to have your spear, you gotta call, you gotta do all these different things, but was there some kind of like hustle that you did that kind of helped kickstart your business?
So for me, I'm always looking for what no one else is doing. I don't wanna do anything that anybody else is doing. So, whenever I was doing open houses, if someone walked in and said they had a realtor, great, let me show you the house. I proved up that I would go to other open houses and check out those realtors, and then I proved up that I was worth having. And so I would show the home just like I was the realtor, I was their realtor. And then whenever they got ready to leave, I always hand them my business card and say, hey, here's my business card that you can give to your agent. 50% of the time, they're lying about having an agent anyways. So then you get the phone call back, and then you can say, hey, I thought you said you have an agent. And then if they say, well, I do, but I wanna change to you, we'll have you sign any paperwork. And so if they have, they need to get out of that before they move over to me. But I show a house just like, at an open house, just like I would show to my client. And then, another thing that I do is I do go to the county and I get records, and those records that I use is I target those clients, whatever it is, someone that has a marriage license, someone that's getting a divorce, I go and pick those up. And if you're going to a small courthouse to do that, you're gonna know how many realtors come in. All you have to do is ask the security guy. How many realtors come in and get the report once a month to find out who's filing for divorce? The only thing I recommend is if you go after divorce people, you need to find out when the constable is gonna serve them. Because you don't want them to get your letter before they've been informed that they're getting a divorce. Learn from my mistake on that. And so, you don't wanna get the phone call saying, are you telling me I'm getting a divorce?
Or I got this letter by mistake.
So, but look for those, and so if you go to the courthouse to collect these documents and they can't tell you where to go get them, then that means other people aren't coming in to get them. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So if you're going after divorces and you get to that courthouse and they're like, well, I don't know where you go to pick up those records, that means no one else is doing it. So I'm looking for stuff that other realtors are not doing. Talking about lead generation, I represent a few small builders, and those came from Realtor.com. And every single one of them that I got was because someone called them a lot. Well, if I call a lead back that on a $20,000 lot, I'm not competing with anyone in the room because y'all wanna call them. So think of it this way, if if somebody's calling about a $20,000 lot, that means it's a builder. It's someone that wants to build a house and you can pair up with a builder and get paid the same commission on that. It's very few people that are calling on the lot that don't have intentions for that lot. So the builders that I picked up and I had zero competition, no one else. I mean, I had one builder that said to me, "You're the only one that will ever call me back." I said, "Well, quit pushing the button, just call me directly." You know, so think about what other people aren't gonna do and then you do.
Well, I wanna add to that, because that's a great point. As agents, I mean, you know, your job's legion, but it's also to answer your phone.
Yes.
There are a ton of agents that will not answer their phone, will not call you back.
Trent just made the rule, you have 48 hours.
Right,
You have 48 hours to respond to somebody, because agents don't call you back or text you.
that's right.
Don't mean to interrupt, I just.
No, but you're absolutely right. But there's a rule in place and people still won't call you back. If I get called about an advertising source or whatever, I'll go to that source and I'll find out who's using that platform and I'll call them. The other day I had a magazine call me and wanted to put an ad in their magazine. And I called probably 30 agents before I got one in Ohio that would answer the phone. And of those 30 calls, give me a guess on how many people call me back, because I do leave voicemails. Zero, that's exactly right. So agents today are not picking the phone up either. They don't.
Even if it says scam, you gotta answer it.
Right, yes, drives me crazy.
You can always hit end block.
Right.
To your point, and to answer your question, go be a real estate agent. Do you know how many deals I've got at the courthouse? Sitting there doing the work and somebody having a question, and I can answer it, and I hand them a card. I'm like, oh, you do that? I ran into past clients at the courthouse that were doing research on their parents' property. I'm like, oh, are y'all thinking about selling that at some point? Well, we are. Since you're here, do you mind just giving us the CMA? Like, it's just go be the agent, go do the thing, and it works.
Right, and don't spend a lot of money getting ready to go sell real estate. Just try stuff, see what works, and like, I don't have a fancy system.
CRM or.
No, I don't even know how to use my CRM. I don't know how to use the remote to the TV at the house. If I can't push the button and it come on, I'm out. And so, I'm not the only one, huh? So, you know, just find whatever system works for you, and I'll show my age because I use an Excel spreadsheet.
Well, and I wanna add to answer Travis's question, is build good habits. So, don't get up at 10 and mosey out of the house at lunchtime, and at 5 you're tired, oh, it's been a long day, and I'm heading back home. Build some good habits. Make your day intentional. Don't just bounce from here to there and there to here and not have some sort of routine. There are too many people that are out there hustling. I'm a firm believer that there's plenty of business for everyone. If you've got a question, I'll tell you exactly what I'm doing, exactly when I'm doing it, exactly how I'm doing it. Because there is plenty of business for everybody in this room. You just have to be active and do it. You can't sit at home or sit at wherever and be a secret agent and not, and make a living doing this. It's a hobby at that point. So, to Travis's point, build some good habits. Contact your spheres. Work on your CRM if that's, whether it be an Excel spreadsheet or a legal pad. I mean, Shirley's over there, you use a legal pad, Shirley?
I do. Thank you.
The best one is the one you use.
Yes, that's exactly.
That's right.
Is the best, but, you know, I know that whenever someone's a new agent, they're trying to sell you everything. And you don't need to buy all that stuff, you need to go do this for a while and then figure out what you need. You just need a business card and be able to talk to people. the National Association of Realtors put out probably about 5 years ago saying that anytime you're in a room of 25 people or more, someone either has to buy or sell real estate. So that tells us we need to go to events, we need to be out there, we need to go places so that people have the opportunity to talk to us. And I actually sold a doctor's $4 million property because I wore my name badge, and I went in for a doctor's appointment, and he didn't know I was a realtor, and so we talked about that. We talked about real estate so long that his nurse called me back saying, hey, he forgot to tell you, you need to go have labs done. So but that was from a name badge and having a conversation about selling real estate.
That's right.
So just go out, just be out there, and I know you do a good job of that, cause I always see you at the tours when I get to make it, so get out there and just do that every.
You'll be active in doing things that realtors do, whether it be on your own, going and looking at houses. You need to know that your market, what market you're working, especially when we look at a micro market. So Ennis is pretty much a micro market. So you should, if you're working in Ennis or in Midlothian or in Waxahachie, you should know almost every house on the market. If it's been on the market for over 10 days, you should have at least laid eyes on some pictures, if not visited that house. You need to spend some time in houses, looking at them, even if you don't have a
Yeah,
car.
when you do it.
What's that?
I said, make video when you do it.
Right, make
When
video.
I first started, we had leads coming in from the team, but when I would go look at a house, I would, on social media, hey, I'm out of Meridian, was in that Arlington, looking at this new development, what do you think? And then just take pictures of, do you like this elevation or this elevation? And then your sphere, the people you know, start knowing you're in real estate, oh, he's busy all the time. They're busy all the time, they're always out there, they don't know that you aren't selling a house, they just know you're out doing stuff. Man, they know what they're doing, alright, so it's just go be active. Sorry, I wanna keep.
No, you're good,
Don't
you're
take
good.
my question.
I like.
I'll talk about Dave if you let me.
All right. Other questions, other thoughts?
Other questions, or I'll just keep talking, no?
What's that, Clayton?
I said, yes, you will. Regeneration, we talked about SOI, don't be a secret agent, contact sports.
Let's talk about farming some. You
Okay.
brought up farming. So what's your plan for farming?
So you put your face on your car, that's the first thing you do.
Make sure it's a current picture.
Oh, I can't believe how offensive some cars are.
That's not everybody's cup of tea. But your point, do what other people want to do. And every time I've told somebody, make video, do billboards, put your face on the car, go sponsor, or just get to school and put a banner up, I can never do that. I'm like, why? I don't drive well enough. Drive better. Let's stop acting like that in school. Stop acting like that. Other people won't do it. It's not for everybody, I'm not really telling you. Like, y'all have a rap with no face, right? So
No, our faces.
Yeah, their
Your
faces.
face on
Oh, yeah, the Jeep, our faces don't, but the BMW, and that's the one that gets driven the worst. I mean, you can't tell me, nobody can tell me, oh, I drive too bad. I'm 100 miles an hour everywhere I go. I'm 3 inches off your butt.
I tell them, my number's on the car, call me.
Right.
If you're going slow in the fast lane, I'll pass me, like, call me.
Oh my gosh.
I sell houses faster than I drive.
I have a van coming in that has my face on it, and so it's great to have those, and so, yeah,
Well,
I think
so-
it's good.
So to your geo farm,
Okay.
your mailing, your.
Right, so in the Geo Farm, so we started, we live in North Grove, we moved in 2019, and there was no social media. So first thing we did was we said, let's start putting on events for people, right? So Easter egg hunts, pool grand opening, into pool party, and you just start getting to know your neighbors. Go love your neighbors, go add value to your neighbors, right? So that's number one in my opinion. Number two, there's 2 schools of thought. You can do the branding, which costs money, send postcards with your name, your face, and all that, I'm the best, number one, blah, 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 blah. Or you can start adding value, and start sending out some CMAs, start letting people know, hey, I'm gonna send you a CMA, no obligation, just want you to have your own value. This last year, we did 52 tax disputes in our neighborhood, just from going to our neighborhood Facebook page, me doing a quick video. Hey, property values skyrocketed, if you don't have homestead, if you don't have your exemptions, this is what's gonna happen, let me know, here's what happened to us, I'm happy to help. And then everybody started reaching out, right? You're the professional in the neighborhood. Then you can just add on top of that, things that you can do that are unique to your geo farm. I don't know everything about it, we do open houses, even if I don't have a listing in the neighborhood, we would go, start building some of those open houses, whatever we wanted. But we would call other agents who maybe aren't in that area, hey, do you mind if we do an open house, I do a video on the house, and do you feel free? What did I say? No, they do it, so now all your signage, go get the big, we got the big feather flags and have our name all over it, my face, my car's parked out front, come on in. And when people visit the neighborhood, you demonstrate your knowledge of that area, right? So like North Grove, there's a kid, a couple came, this is true story, a couple came in and did several other open houses. And I was the first one that told them where the pool was, where the park was, how much their HOA dues were, that it was part of the PID, and how much the PID was, and where they could find it out, and what that meant. They came back the next day and they're like, hey, we want to use you. Here's the new construction house that we're looking at. And they used us to buy the house in that neighborhood. And so we've kept up with, we have a follow plan. But those are the kind of things you can do in where you're the expert, right? And you will just eventually, it's not gonna get you built tomorrow, probably it might, but over a year, 2 years, 3 years, now people are coming back to us because they see us in the neighborhood, they see us on the Facebook, they see our stuff in the neighborhood, and it's an organic add value, they do attractive. So that's how we do our geofarm.
Jennifer?
So I send out postcards every 3 weeks. I have 1,500 addresses that we use, and we make sure there's always a 5% turnover in those neighborhoods. And I've been farming in the same area for probably 4 years now, and so that's mostly how I do it.
So what tool are you using for 5% attrition, to figure the 5% attrition?
To figure it, I go through the MLS.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
So-
so you can call the MLS and they will teach you how to do it if you just say, hey, all right, or I'm not sure how y'all's is, mine is MetroTex, and they are very, very helpful. If you don't know how to do something, you can just call and ask them and they'll walk you through it.
Yeah, our was very
Okay.
friendly too, but we were with MetroTex for a long time. Amber, standing back in the room, she's got a nice little tool for that as well.
I do. I have a farming tool. It is free for any licensed realtor to use or lender. So if you ever wanna get a demo that product, just reach out to me and I can demo that for you. And again, it's free for y'all to use. And you get really personal, great information from that, plus the turnover rate, which is definitely key for that when you're farming.
And you have helped me when I was looking for like 100+ acres.
Uh-huh.
And so if you don't know how to run the reports, Amber will run them and send them to you.
Yes.
So, you know.
Yes, so I have that wonderful tool in my back pocket, so at the end of the day, we want y'all to grow, we wanna grow with you, so.
Right, so we personally, we're set up pretty much like yours, where we farm a certain area, they get a touch, postcard, we do an event in the neighborhood. We just try to make ourselves, like I said, the neighborhood specialist or neighborhood expert. And it gets, you get a couple, you're, depending on how many, 1,500, you should be probably getting around 5% of those. So,
And I've been farming for a long time, so the longer you farm, the better response you're gonna get. I had one lady that called me on her estate, and she had been getting my postcards for 4 years. She just didn't have a need for that 4 years. And then once the need came about, then she knew exactly who she was gonna call. And like you said earlier, there's no questions at that point. You're not going up against other realtors. You're not being interviewed. They're hiring you to come in and take care of their property.
that's right, once you're established as an expert, the competition goes way down. You don't walk into a listing appointment where there's 3 more stacked.
And the one thing I do wanna point out, all of our answers were a little bit different. So the number one thing is be you, because you're gonna attract the people that are like you and wanna work with you. Some of his clients aren't gonna be a good fit for me, some of my clients aren't gonna be a good fit for him, in the same way. It's just, there's enough for everybody, like you were saying. Go be genuine, you'll be yourself, and that will attract the people you want to work.
Yes, that's very important, because you don't wanna work with people you don't wanna work with.
Right.
Because you will attract more people that you don't wanna work with. So you, and I know what front, all you wanna do is have someone that's breathing and can buy a house. But that's not a good plan, because you will constantly, that's who you will attract over and over again, so.
And that's where your referrals will come from.
Yes, those kind of people. So how would y'all call your past clients that you haven't talked to in years? So for anybody that's out here saying, I did not keep up with my database, I haven't talked to them for years, what would you do to have the excuse to pick up the phone and call?
So I wouldn't use an excuse, sorry, you want to go?
No, go ahead.
I wouldn't use an excuse, I would just be upfront and honest. This way, hey, this is Paul, hey, my name is Paul, how have you been? I'm so sorry, I've not done my job. I haven't stayed in touch with you, I haven't done my job as an agent or as your broker, or whatever your relationship is. If it's somebody personally, you know, you haven't talked to them in 2 years, why would you talk to them? You know, what happened there? Why did you follow it up? It could be as simple as, hey, just thinking about you, because you're not, you can't act like what I say. If you ever talk to
No,
them,
no, you can't.
right? Hey, just, you know, I haven't talked to you in 2 years, just wanna see how you're doing, blah, blah, and then maybe 3 months later, once a quarter, you're gonna start trying to rekindle that relationship. Hey, just thinking about you, just wanted to make sure, you know they own a house, let's say. Hey, taxes are gonna come out, you know, beginning of the year, you know, if you don't mind, I'll send you a free home value so that you can make sure your taxes are in line. If not, I'm happy to help you out. But find something you can add value to, and then own the fact that you didn't stay in touch with them, right? Because if you, people can tell that, right? If you, first thing you do is call and ask for something, and then, you know, they can tell when you're sitting, right? So be upfront, be honest, and just own what you did, because listen, honestly, if somebody calls you and says, hey, I messed up and I didn't do, what's your first reaction? Oh, it's okay, it's all right, don't worry about it, I didn't do that either, I didn't touch you, right?
Yeah.
You're not playing games, you're really doing, and that will come across when you start to feel that way.
Well, that could be as simple as, hey, I was dialing Paul,
Call the wrong call.
and no, and you can use that, but I was dialing Paul, and your name popped up, and I hadn't thought about you since you bought the house over on Main Street. How's the house? I mean, you could actually turn it into, hey, I was just going through my phone. Who doesn't save everybody's number in your phone? I bet I got 2,000, 3,000 numbers in my phone. I don't know any of them.
You know 10 of them, right?
I know 3 of them. And I'm, regardless of what people think, I'm very much an introvert, so I don't call people. I hate the phone, but I answer the phone. It's nuts that that's who I am. But anyway, if I called somebody and said, hey, just calling you, they go, this ain't the right guy. But if I called and said, hey, I had a client call me and I saved him in my phone, it's Paul, and I dialed Paul and I see your name and made me think about you, it would be a legitimate conversation and they would understand that it's a legitimate conversation. Kind of goes back to what you said earlier.
Be yourself. And I don't know if you're an introvert, I would never guess that. But it costs everybody hates calls. Get over it. We all hate calls. I hate calling. The way I got over that was you gotta do it. The script. Everybody's gonna have a script. I used to be very opposed to scripts until one of my coaches way over early on in KW said, Paul, everybody's got a script. But your script is welcome to McDonald's, how may I help you? Here's your script from Dr. Fritz, what seems to be the trouble? Everybody has it. So I'm like, okay. So I came up with a very simple script just to call people and get in the habit, like I said earlier, build good habits, put some time block on the calendar. That will eventually lead to the habit of you just making calls. I still hate it. Sometimes I go to one like, oh, I gotta do prospecting to me today.
So I recently done a video that was along those lines, and I see some faces out there that are young, that don't know that used to be when the phone rang, I mean, and I grew up, I'll give up something else too. I grew up in a house without a phone. We did not have a phone growing up. But when I went to friends' houses, I'm old enough that, and their phone rang, their kids were excited that the phone was ringing. Their kids would run, don't you answer that phone, Mom and Dad's gonna answer the phone. It was an exciting thing for the phone to ring, because we didn't have 100 telemarketers calling us each day. Today, the phone rings and people are like, oh crap, it's a spam, I don't wanna answer a spam call. I answer them all.
Yeah.
Most of them are mad at me before they get off, because I'm gonna talk to them about something.
Trying to
And
sell
it's
my
not,
house.
and it's not what they wanna talk about.
Yeah, they're great to use your scripts on, right?
Right, right.
There you go.
I don't know, just see how they do. So what do you say whenever you're talking to a previous client and they ask how the market is and they say, I understand it's slow? How do you handle that?
I handle it by saying, well, there's an adjustment period that we're going through, and buyers are a little apprehensive to sign on that 7% interest rate or 7.5% interest rate. But it's not a bad interest rate. And my script is think about, and some of you younger folks may not know this, but in the late 80s, 18% wasn't unheard of. There were some 20% interest rates. Most everybody you talk to is carrying, anybody break out your wallet? I'll break mine out. It's full of credit cards, and they're nearly 30%. They're 29% if you don't pay them all. So all of these people that are driving about 7% interest rate and carrying $10,000 worth of credit cards in their pocket, they're paying that interest rate, and they don't own a house. So that's my script, is that the market is slower because we're in an adjustment period, and as people get more accustomed to that 7%, there are people in this room that probably never sold a house that's 7-8%. In 2006, that's everything we sold was 7%.
So how would you handle
So-
whenever you're talking to
Then
them?
how's the market while you're asking,
Okay,
right? So it's asking questions. What's important? Why are they asking that? So, hey, how's the market? It's actually, it's good. Why do you ask? Well, I'm thinking about buying. Well, that's a different conversation. I'm thinking about selling, different conversation. Thinking about refinancing, different conversation. My mom's getting older, might have to sell the house, different conversation. So why do you ask? I find out what their goals are. Depends why you ask. Interest rates, all right, what was the second thing you said? The market's slowing down. The market's slowing down. What makes you say that? Why do you think it's slowing? Well, the news said, blah, blah, blah said. My neighbor's house has been on the market for 60 days. Absolutely. So the houses are on the market longer than they were the last couple of years. But let me tell you kind of how the market works. Average is 6 months. We've been in this fairy tale land for the last 3 or 4 years where houses selling a weekend for more than their worth. Right? We're just getting back to normal. It's still a seller's market. If I can sell a house in 30, 60, 90 days for 95 to 100% of ask price, that's a seller's market. The buyer's market, and you have to remind them, hey, back in 2008 to 2012, when you bought a house, the sellers, you have to give them some furniture, all appliances, you have to pay all the closing costs. That's a buyer's market. We're not there yet. We're still in a good market. Oh, really? Yeah, and then if they tell you it's the national news, hey, that's the national news, it's averages, real estate is a hyper-local thing, here's how it works in North Texas. You go back to being the expert. Find out why they ask, and then alleviate their fears. People either need education or time, right? And you provide both of those. Find a way to educate them, here's how we can accomplish your goal. Maybe it is to refinance, maybe it's to stay where you're at, maybe it is to buy a house. Interest rates, are they going up or down? We don't know, nobody knows. But I can tell you this, it's never cheaper to buy a house tomorrow. It's never cheap. Yeah, prices are gonna go up or interest rates are gonna go up. And to go to your example of credit cards, if they get really up on interest rates, well, are you ready right now? Yeah, well, you're paying 100%. And I don't ever promise somebody rates are gonna go down, but it's a lot easier to buy a house today at 7%, and if they go down, refinance, than if they go up, go to your lender and say, wait a minute, I want the rates for 2 years.
Or go
That's
to
not
that,
an option.
or go to that seller and I want the rate that it sold at 6 years ago, or whatever. Then because it's very seldom do we see real estate actually lose value, and if it loses value, it's short-term loss.
Short-term, small dollar amount, and it's not losing value, it's correcting, it's overvalued performance, right? There's so much of it's about interest, right? Oh, you gotta find out what's important, like why, asking why, digging deeper, ask 3 questions. Why is that important? Oh, because of this. Well, why is that important? Is it the price? Is it the monthly payment? Because you have people that are hung up, they just don't want to pay the rent. People that just don't want to say, I spent $600,000 on a house. That's great, man. You know, in 1932, you could have got that house for $6,000. That's inflation, that's what happens. Is it the price? Is it the money? Is it the rate? And help them understand how they can accomplish their goals inside of their objection. That's really what you gotta get to. Otherwise, you're just selling the house.
Yeah, and I want to point out something though, is give Paul some kudos here. It actually, you're an investigator. If you're asking questions, you're controlling the conversation. So start making it a habit to ask questions, answer questions with questions, because again, you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what the goal is. You don't know where they're at in their life. You don't know who they're asking for even. Well, why do you ask? Oh, well, my neighbor's daughter's gonna buy a house. Okay, is she talking to somebody? Can you share her number with me? I mean, so there's, questions are open up opportunities. So always, and I'm giving Paul kudos because I'm not good at it. I'm reactive. Somebody asks me a question, I give them an answer. I don't try to drive a conversation. Where if you're controlling the conversation, you're being the investigator, and you're actually gaining knowledge, and knowledge is gold. So
Being a consultant, not a salesperson.
that's right.
Does anybody read Simon Sinek? He goes over emotion. Most people make decisions with emotion. The part of your brain that controls emotion is not the part of the brain that controls logic or language. So they can't tell you. You have to discover, right? Why is that important? Why do you feel that way? It just feels right. Because they don't have the words to tell you. Then you have to understand that and understand how to guide them on that journey. So it's just always digging deeper. And sometimes you get pushed, and I'm not the best at it. Right? I don't do it every single conversation with everybody every time. It's just something that's on my mind that I try to focus on when I do that.
It's about building habits, so it kind of goes to what we talked about. Start building those good habits. And for the most part, the whole theme of the day is whatever you're doing to reach in, you pick up 2 or 3 items that you get energy from, whether it's making phone calls. Some people love the cold call. I've talked to people, I love the cold call. I don't particularly like it. I'd rather knock on somebody's door than.
And I won't knock on anybody's door. I'm not going to.
Great, so
it's, yeah.
So do what gives you energy. Do what you feel like you're good at. But make a habit of doing it. Don't just sit back and wait on business to come to you, because it's not gonna happen.
So Champion School of Real Estate says that consistency is doing the same activity for 6 months. So if you take any of their marketing class, So whatever, they give you 5 pillars to success, and whatever those 5 events are that you're gonna go out and do, you have to commit to 6 months. So if you're going to go to Little League football games, you're gonna be there every single time for 6 months, and you're going to talk to everybody in the area to establish who you are or get business. And so I had a realtor that worked for me that he went to the bar every Sunday night, the same bar every Sunday night, and he got quite a bit of business from the bar. So there's no wrong way of doing it, it's whatever works for you, exactly go to you, go do whatever works for you.
All right.
We
Well,
done?
We're done. We're done, we're gonna do lunch, I think.
Yeah, and David's gonna come up and
David
talk
would
to
like
us.
to take a few minutes to say something. I wanna thank everybody for coming. I want to pose a question as to, if we were to do this again, what would be a topic that would be, whether it's CE or whatever, what would be a topic that would interest you?
I would like to see us convert buyers right now. So
Okay.
at the 7% interest rate or 7.5, how do we convert those buyers and get them to buy now? Since as soon as interest rates go down, we still have a housing shortage. We're still in a housing crisis. So how can we work with some lenders, know the difference of what is, the previous interest rate to now, and how do we discuss that? Because it's not a 7% interest rate or 8% for 30 years, it's only 5 to 7 years. And what does that money look like? And can we get sellers concessions? Can we reduce the price? What can we do to help that out? So I think that would be wonderful for everyone in this room, because again, do something that no one else is doing, and people aren't going after buyers right now, they're going for all the listings.
Right.
So.
I like it. I mean, I
Yeah.
really.
You said
What a
something
wonderful
earlier.
introduction.
There you go.
So, this is David Evanson with the Mortgage Link, and they provided lunch.
Many of y'all know David. David's
You know him.
Good to meet
a
you.
guy that gets things done. We,
I'm gonna step over here just so I have
Okay, yeah.
things to hold in my
And you
hand.
can use the mic.
No, I don't wanna use the mic. So some of you guys know me, some of you guys are already using me. Just a little bit about the company, I won't take too much of your time. Not much of a public speaker anyway. Mortgage Link, been around 27 years on the eastern seaboard. They've started coming this way in the last couple of years. A lot of great mortgage companies around here. I know a lot of them, a lot of good loan officers. I've even worked for some of these companies. What I will say is different about Mortgage Link is they are different about everything, the way that they do stuff. Okay, first of all, you'll never ever see a pre-qualification letter come out of my email. They're always pre-approved, they've been through underwriting. We do it, and if you see my sign back there, we have 1 hour underwriting. We can do those things because of the process that we have set in place. It took years for my company and my group of people that I'm with to develop that process. And they've all been together for 15 plus years. Another thing that we do differently is my head underwriting credit manager. He actually has formally helped write some of Fannie Mae seller guides. He recently wrote the exam for all underwriters to become certified underwriters that they have to take to become certified. And he's just a guru. I mean, I have seen deals that I would look at, there's no way. And he'll just do the grapevine, hey man, I hear you're having trouble with that, right? When was the last time, I don't know, if you guys ever get an opportunity to talk to underwriters, so this doesn't happen, right? Especially on my side of the fence, loan officers, big no-no, you don't call your underwriters. My underwriters will all call me, hey, I hear you're struggling with a deal, let's take a look at that and see what we can do, right? Let's turn it around. So that's pretty much all that sums up the Mortgage Link, is just we do differently, just refine the process. And by doing that up front, we give you our, your buyers more of a competitive edge, because we've done 50% or more of the heavy lifting up front. So they can close faster, they're more competitive, et cetera, et cetera. Lead generation, that's the topic today, right? So I just wanna try something with you guys today, because I knew that that's what this is about. Everybody look on your tables in front of you, and you'll see a packet up front, close to the top of the table, that says Bloomfield on it. So I'm a preferred lender with Bloomfield on it, and a few of their communities. So what I do to be of value, right, because I've heard some great comments about being of value, and serving the people that you work with and serving your buyers and sellers. So, to be of value, I work with those people and present their products when I go out. So I always try to be of value everywhere I go to people that I work with, whether it be buyers or someone that's trying to sell their home that I personally know. I'll go put my sign on their yard, I'll offer lender incentives. If it's a builder, I'll bring their packets to an event that I'm doing. And you guys are all picking that up, looking at that right now. And I'm being of value to someone else, and I'm being of value to you. And I'm promoting my business, their business, and I'm presenting a way for you all to help your buyers. That's just one little example of lead generation, right? Be of value everywhere you go. Always, 24 hours a day. Answer your phone. I answer my phone at 10 p.m. I don't ever not answer my phone. If I'm sleeping and my phone goes off and I hear it, I'll answer it. If I don't answer your call, that means I was really asleep and I couldn't hear your phone, okay? There was some questions that were posed. It was kind of an introduction, what you guys would like to see as far as some information and insight on my side of the fence. So recently, do you guys, anybody in here know who MBS Highway is? Barry Habib? Grant Cardone, you all know Grant Cardone, right?
Yes.
So this Barry Habib guy, he's basically like Grant Cardone on my side of the fence. He's the market nation guru. He's pretty much everybody, if he says something, they listen, okay? He in fact predicted back in May and several months before that the rates would start coming down in the middle of May. If you guys pay close enough attention, they did for 3 days. And then they shot back up because the Federal Reserve didn't like what was happening. And so they quote unquote redid April's numbers. And then the rates started going back up. Basically, we just had a huge hour-long Zoom call. And I won't go over all that with you guys, just a few key points, and then we can eat lunch, get out of here. Anybody that wants the whole presentation, I have it in my email, and I can send it to you if you guys have signed in or want to leave your card or your email with me. I'll be happy to send that, even if I'm not your lender. I'd love to be, but if I'm not, I still would love to just help any way I can and be informative to you all. But, forgive me, I'm stuttering a little bit. I'm not much of a public speaker. So, how many of you know what CPI is? Consumer Pricing Index. That's basically the rate of inflation that the government uses, the Fed uses to predict what they're gonna do with the rate hikes, okay? 43.5% of the core CPI is the shelter cost. And so, part of this presentation is the CoreLogic blended rate of rent year over year and the changes in it, okay? And then the other part of it is the CPI shelter cost, basically the cost of a home ownership year over year. So it goes all the way back, and this whole thing, by the way, goes back to all 9 recessions that the U.S. has been through since 1963. So it's very, very, it's not just somebody talking to hear themselves talk. They've done the research. It's all factual data. Basically, the government is out as of June. They were saying that the inflation rate was at 4.7% and their target rate is 2%. So, not all the data that they're using is correct, okay? For starters, they don't use all the data that they're supposed to be using. One of the largest pieces of missing information that they don't use is their jobs reporting, right? They use a birth and death model to report jobs. That's part of how they it's basically impossible to really know exactly how many jobs are added. So that's part of what they do. That model has added 1 million bogus jobs that don't exist. Or let's say that one of you leaves your brokerage and goes to another brokerage. That's a job added. They don't count the job being taken away, they only count the job being added. So the employment and the jobs reports are bogus. There's a lag data, about 6 month lag time of the data. If you take that 4.7 and then you take the lag effect of 1.9%, you end up with a real inflation rate, as we are right now, of 2.8. So we're a lot closer to where we should be. And like you said, somebody said, on a panel that they watched the news, or this person said this, or that, they all paint doom and gloom. They're all fear mongering, they're all want you to be scared. That's what they're doing on purpose. They want a 5% unemployment rate in order for the rates to come down. Because they feel like that is the number and the percentage point of unemployment that creates competitiveness in the job market. Right? So that's what they do. They want to purposely unemploy people, so they get out there and they paint doom and gloom. This is a very strong market, and I would argue it's probably the best time to buy a home. Right? So that leads me to my final point that I'll make. And if you guys want to ask me questions or talk to me while you're eating lunch or whatever, I'm welcome to come by and talk to you or chit chat or whatever. They used a $400,000 house as an example. You guys mentioned they don't want to buy because of rate, 7% rate. Historically speaking, over all 9 recessions, in a recession, the interest rates go down to a point and a half, lower than what they currently were when you hit a recession. That's all the way going back through 1982 recession. In fact, in 1982, the interest rates fell 5% when they hit recession. But other than that recession, basically about a point to a point and a half is what you'll see an adjustment going down in rates, okay? So when that happens, that creates more buyers because more people can qualify. They're predicting by the end of 2023, early 2024, when the rates come down because we do hit a recession and all that data lag hits, and we really start feeling the pain, they'll have no choice but to reverse policy and start lowering rates, okay? When that happens, you'll go from about 1.5 to 2 million people that qualify for a home currently to about 4.5 to 5 million people. So that's a lot more leads and a lot more things to do. The only problem with that is we've got, I think 614,000 available homes, available listings right now, versus in previous years, in 2019, I think when COVID hit, or 2020, I think there were roughly triple that were available. But when interest rates go down, it creates more buyers, and then historically speaking, when that happens, home prices go up because it creates bidding wars. Okay, the more people qualified, less amount of homes, home prices go up. That's part of the report, and it can show through history, through all 9 of those recessions, what happens to rates, what happens to home prices, and then how they have risen through recessions consecutively for the last, I don't know how many years, right? People are scared of recessions, but what I would say to you, the biggest thing you can do is educate your clients and your leads or your prospectus. Tell them not to be scared. Buy the house and marry the house and date the rate. A lot of people say that, and it's really true. That person that says they want to wait a year for the rates to come down, let's say a point and a half even, on a $400,000 house. Okay, you just saved $6,000 in interest in 1 year, but in that 1 year, and pretty much still up, there's let's see. So, FHFA, CoreLogic, Black Knight, and Zillow all agree the 2023 and 2024 1-year pace of appreciation of value is anywhere from 5 to 10% in just 1 year of appreciation of value. So if that home appreciated, let's just say a meter is 6%, that's $24,000 in 1 year, and you just missed out on $19,000 to save $6,000. When you could have just bought the house, had the equity, and refinance it when the rates pop. So, educate your clients. Last thing I'll say is, lean on your lenders. We know we have information, and if we don't, we should. Lean on your lenders for support. Ask them questions. Do open houses. Have them call your databases. We even do that for a few people in this room. They're too busy because they're dealing with their current clients or listings or whatever that they're doing. So they reach out and say, hey, would you mind calling our old databases? There's no way we can call all these people. Sure, pass them on over. Now I do have the added benefit of having my wife that's been in the industry for 10 years, and she sold brand new homes, so she's calling those databases and making appointments and sending those emails. But But guess what? We've got land deals for our agents, we've done all kinds of stuff. The moral of the story is, excuse me, lean on your lenders. And if you don't have a lender that's willing to do those things for you, give me a call. Cause I will. I'll do open houses, I'll sit, I'll call your leads, I will call your databases, I'll do drip campaigns, I'll send out open house flyers, whatever it takes to help you guys and add value to you and what you're doing. That's what should be going on, right? You can't do it all on your own. You need a team. It takes a village. Be selective of who your village is. That's it.
Thank you. Lunch is served. Ron, help yourself.
They are hard.
If you did not put your card and notice anything and you want to be in the drawing, please put your card in.
This guy's because apparently part of the and then plus the
That's it.
The homes are gonna always appreciate historically, even in the recession, this is it's not. That was caused by $5 billion in innovation, right? Which means barely qualified people. And bartenders, 580, $485 down. 15% way out, what's the rate to do it? They could pay for it. That's a project. This is not. But what goes
Did everybody get their card and the little bill of prices?
On my little tablets, on my. I appreciate it.
We're gonna draw for, and I'll, this is the card, the $50 gift card to several different restaurants, all for using one, and the winner is You're supposed to go lunch, right?
Exactly. There you go. Alright.
Can we get a picture of you? Oh, here's all my.
Okay.
You get a picture? I did. You wanna do the book?
No way, I won.
There you go.
Yes.
Okay.
That was Susan.
Perfect.
Thank y'all.
Okay.
Where do you want to next?
Well, then there's.
Yeah.
Okay, next we're gonna do a free 30-minute photo session from Cantu Photography.
Awesome. Okay, so this is Patty Jordan. There you go.
Headshots.
Time for a new one.
He's good.
I'll take a picture. You're welcome.
Okay, so what's next? We have this cool open house box from Truly. These are wonderful. It's got all the things in it.
All the things you need for a drama drop.
Awesome.
You can drop this.
Debbie's house. Oh.
All right, and do we want the daring greatly? And this goes to Valerie Hall.
Yes. Just sit down front. Yes. Okay. With Paul's picture on it. And Paul's picture on it. That's right, Paul. I just saw your vehicle. You're welcome. For free.
For
It's a
free?
good tax write-off. You're good.
Oh, okay.
All right, so we've got one more gift card, I think, right? Oh, two more. How did it get out? Just Your card came out twice. All right, one more.
That's kind of cool. I wanted to put the final signature. I wanted to start with what? I've read that already. And it really is a good book. I haven't read the book, but it's I remember, I like crowds too. I like,
So, what do you think about, we're thinking about next time doing another event later in the day, and maybe throw it over to after for a happy hour. Would y'all do that? Wanda says she can't hear me. So later, if we did an event next month and we made it later in the day and did happy hour afterwards, anybody be interested in that? Anybody? Yeah, maybe? Okay, all right.
yeah, I was about to say, one of your dogs was
Or whatever, yeah.
Well, you're freezing too? I did. When they said it was
One of my favorite.
Oh, yeah. So,
Congratulations.
I'm good. So you're,
Yeah, we got a ticket for it.
did you just buy one?
I need to do the national escrow now because we are 2 different
I don't know what kind of reminder she set up.
I'm gonna ask her. Yeah.
that's where you have the, when someone says, hey, why are you
It's still true for us. Absolutely. So, but you still gotta be able to
And so, and then also another scenario that I've heard is when they go to Facebook. I don't know, Taylor's not counting on the money,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
so, you know, I'm almost.
But I think it's a good topic, even if you're
And really, when it comes to
That's a whole lot of organization.
How do I get to my spots? If I don't know my numbers, I can already go. And so, I don't have officers.
For me, each person, certainly wasn't that, if you do also your so if you do intermediary, you cannot give advice.
I don't know.
That's when you got people And I tell you what, I mean, I take some classes, you know, get out and to
So,
changes. This is still
Yeah, and they've agreed to it. Agreed to
I thought that's like.
But I keep
You guys should go check out some movies.
it's amazing.
We're doing the same thing.
And, you know, since I'm off to school.
Oh, no.
No, he's all about it.
We have, 7. I know, they just set this up. They just set this up.
I don't know if you heard about me.
I can probably tell you.
Oh, thank you, yeah, I'm attached to actually, team, I'm actually attached to.
She just set these up. That's why we're over there.
My wife is here, so she's attached now. Yeah. It's not a.
Actually, 5 minutes. That's all the best.
No, my son's going to and I got to get snacks. Okay. School best.
We still want to do our kayak. I think that's, now that it's cooling off, I probably, I think about just opening up to kayak.
Cause I'm like,
Then maybe.
I know, I'm like,
The question that kind of changed.
I need some help. My brother Matt, my brother-in-law Matt, but he doesn't trade on fishing charges. He could probably help me. I know he would.
Oh, really? Every turn. Yes.
That's part of the bachelor's.
Yes.
Well, just last year, just past 6 months. It's all right.
Yeah, because if you got two cars in there, just drop it down.
And they were going to turn left out up until this point. And I believe that the program is totally mistaken. They lost their sponsorship. They lost
Somebody up there said,
thousands of dollars.
The kids cannot even be on their phones while they're at it.
Yeah.
They get seen.
It's serious business. Because I'm
I had a person that said, talk about the progress, I was subject to that.
you're in a, you're in a school there.
Yeah.
These guys. So
Well, no, I know. And I mean, one of them, you're like, did you read this? Are you going to Ballard book?
Because I just got back.
So he read the 11 pages of it. He's like, they have an audio version.
I say to me, remember my name. It's real church and people that I like that Tom Ferry. That's how mine goes. My teachers are very hard. That's why I'm here. Do you have any questions? You haven't done with administration yet. I mean, we always do and I haven't been very sure. Look, what's from now? She was in a She was in see, I can't remember her name. She went from, she closed down the innocent. So I knew he was very and the cool thing about personal, everybody comes out, is if you've taken a flight out there, and then they come back in, she's gonna call and say, hey, I wanna let you know your client came back in. And so, she will text them.
Never know what
And I'll find Is that what it is? Thank you.
So the big thing, when they start paying in a way that figuring that this.
Oh, they're not supposed to be.
They're lying.
Bring him over here, don't forget.
Numbers came out, and it's a 6-month lag. That last time, it lapsed. And the numbers were correct, what it was predicted it would be. Those rates came down, they came down sharp, like half a point. And then they were, like, that had more inflation. No. You gotta recalculate that. It is wrong, that's what it is wrong. That's what the nation talks about.
They start changing those numbers. So it's figured this way, and we stay
I'm gonna see if that's all. It's recorded Zoom call, because he talks about that, and he actually tells you what numbers they're on being nation, like, it's an hour-long line.
What's our business?
Just watching it. It'll blow your mind. They're lying. They're lying to their team. The Americans told them they want. That's what they want.
They're
looking out for their own good.
But it's more real, it's more news than anything else.
What I know is,
Or
if you don't look at everybody's take on that subject, so she's like, oh, this is good for whatever that expert wants you to believe. That's what it's and look at where they're getting their numbers, just like this, just like all of that, that they're giving the number, right? It's like changing the number. If they change the number, I start talking about, I can't use it, I can't trust the data that it puts out. When I'm comparing it to this, right? Because it was calculated. So that, why would I think that it's calculated differently?
why do you think that everything that pretty much touched on today, and everybody describes the service level, everyone got talked about the recession, like, we're already in it. We just don't, the government won't admit it, and, you know, a lot of people just watch too much news and they won't believe it either, but we're already in one.
Well,
We got 6 months before it's all,
they want us to be able to get the economy is improved, which is crazy to me. It's so much better now than this person.
They're destroying some of the
I never saw
Eventually, once it, I mean,
There's a guy, his name, there's a manufacturer in BlackRock, he looks like a laundry, he's bald head, he runs the, he was on a world stage like Sunday or something, he was actually telling the American people, by the year 2030, you will own nothing and you'll be happy.
Yes. All get paid the same.
That's what it was. And it's real, it's real, people don't make this.
What Travis just said is real. What is the?
Thank you,
Did you know that 80% of Americans don't know that they're actually there? 65% of them versus you like 30 seconds of art? Go on YouTube and they did a song. They did a song called Walk on Water. And on 4th of July, they did a 2-hour video for all American.
Oh, it's already.
And talking about
give you all my stuff.
Well, I just was thinking about.
That's one.
Where are you right
We will too.
Um,
Sal.